Leclerc has a problem with signs in Spain, and Ferrari counters, "We didn't lose anything there." The Spanish Grand Prix of Formula One was quite eventful and full of emotions, with Max Verstappen finishing as the race winner and extending his lead in the championship. The podium also included Lando Norris from McLaren and Lewis Hamilton from Mercedes. However, what caught a lot of attention after the race was the commotion in the Ferrari pits, as Charles Leclerc complained about his teammate, Carlos Sainz, touching his car during an overtaking maneuver. Sainz had a more aggressive race, which ended up displeasing Leclerc. While trying to overtake him at turn 1, he ended up causing contact between the two. Leclerc complained about Sainz, and they exchanged barbs over the incident. Charles Leclerc said, "Carlos overtook me at the end of the straight, a risk that shouldn't have been taken, considering it also damaged my front wing. This is an important moment for his career, as well as for the home race." He further added, stating that his teammate did not follow what had been agreed upon before the start. According to him, it wasn't a fair fight with Sainz at the beginning, especially after we decided in the briefing that we would do some tire management work. In turn, Carlos Sainz responded to the statements by downplaying his teammates' complaints, saying that he did everything within the standard. Carlos said, "Leclerc wasn't happy with me. It was clear to me. We had a new soft tire and had to attack. I don't know what happened to him on the first lap. I couldn't keep up with him for the rest of the race. I don't know what he's complaining about this time," he concluded. Leclerc and Sainz started in 5th and 6th on the grid, and there was an expectation from Ferrari and the drivers to aim for the podium. However, according to Leclerc, this early contact hindered his performance for the rest of the race and broke his front wing, but team principal Frédéric Vasseur denied that this happened. In fact, he also gave his opinion to the press and tried to calm things down, stating that the minor contact didn't make us lose much. During an interview in Barcelona, Vasseur further stated that the problem was far from being that contact, as they had been trailing behind the leaders since practice sessions. He mentioned that now it's time to take a small step forward for the next GP and in qualifying, because when starting from the back, one has to overtake and take risks with strategies. Reinforcing that the issue was not the contact between the drivers, he stated, "We didn't see any damage to the car. I think he complained about losing half a second or a second at that moment, but we can find 10 other examples where we lost a second during the race." He also mentioned that they finished the race in the same position they started and almost an entire lap behind the 4th placed George Russell. But Leclerc's complaints didn't stop there, with the driver further asserting that Sainz forced the overtake. According to him, his teammate was trying to do something spectacular considering the moment in his career. Regarding this part of Charles Leclerc's statement, Carlos Sainz was very brief and didn't fuel the controversy, stating that his teammate always complains. To put an end to the questioning and the barbs between the drivers, in another part of his interview, team principal Vasseur commented on the strategies and what might have led to the negative result. He explained that Sainz's target was to mark George Russell, who also used the same tactic with hard tires for the final stretch. Sainz, like Russell, pitted first because we had to cover George's strategy, thus putting him on mediums and hards. With Leclerc, our plan was to extend the first stint and go beyond to have more chances to use, but we missed one lap, he concluded.
Now, Leclerc has dropped to third in the Drivers' Championship, overtaken by Lando Norris, but just 2 points, meanwhile Carlos Sainz is 4th, 32 points behind his teammate, but with one race fewer. Ferrari remains in the 2nd place in the Constructors' Championship, 60 points behind the leader, Red Bull. Formula One now turns to the Australian GP, the second of 3 consecutive races. The questions that remain are, will Ferrari be able to improve their performance in the next race? And is the relationship between the team's drivers resolved, or can we see Leclerc trying to get back at Sainz? To find out this and much more, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video and comment on what do you think about the situation. See you in next video.